It's a game day edition of Morning Drive.
Right at it. Right at it! Oh!
Jordan
He's
Spieth.
done it again! Let's go. Yes.
In your life have you ever seen anything like that?
Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas are separated by just 200 points in the FedEx Cup standings. But what does each player do the best that gives them an edge this week? Our professionals will tell you.
You've been to the playoffs.
So Jerome, we got the playoffs coming up. You got any tips for me?
It all starts with a proper pregame meal.
You have to put your game face on.
Start with this.
What's this gonna do?
Well, it's not gonna do anything. But I'm still gonna be hungry.
You're supposed to be hungry. It's the playoffs.
We'll give you a look back at how the FedEx Cup playoffs have evolved and what could be in store in the future to make them even better. And it's World Miniature Golf Day, but we're celebrating in a big way. We'll introduce you to a man who has a perfect score of 18 in a competitive round of mini golf. It's all coming up on Morning Drive today, Thursday, September 21st, 2017. Yes, the FedEx Cup debuted in 2007, and since then we have had 9 different champions you see before you, with Tiger Woods the only man to win the season-long points race twice. Rory McIlroy is the defending champion, but finished 58 in this year's standings and didn't make it back to the Tour Championship. But we've been joined by our very own bobblehead, Kyle Robinson, alongside Charlie Reimer, as we welcome
I'm a
you
little dizzy now.
into Studio AP. Excited though, this is the first day of the finale of the PGA Tour. Can you wait to see it all kick off?
You know what? We've got great players. We've got a great venue, and East Lake. I absolutely love it. I played my college golf there when I was at Georgia Tech. I probably got 100 rounds on the golf course. So for me, it's really a lot of fun to watch. The golf course absolutely in perfect condition. The greens in particular, you see a lot of putts hold for 2 reasons. Number one, these guys that have gotten this far are playing really good. But number 2, the surfaces are absolutely immaculate. It's going to be a great week of golf.
It's not only the start of the Tour Championship today, it is also World Miniature Golf Day, and I know that gets you excited, right?
I love mini golf, and I'm not the only one. Check out Bubba out doing a little bit of mini golf, and it really is a lot of fun. And a lot of people, I think, maybe go out and try some mini golf. They might not pull it off like Bubba, but it ends up being their introduction to the big game. And I like any excuse for somebody to get a golf club in their hand and go out and have some fun just like that.
Well, you know what? We have a Hall of Famer joining us today from the Professional Putters Association, and that is young Caleb Watson having a go there. The guy that is joining us has the perfect mini golf score on his resume, which I'm sure Caleb would like to have one day. Do you know what that is, Charlie?
I see perfect on 18 holes. 18.
Well done.
See, I may not be a bobblehead after all.
Yeah, maybe not. We'll decide that later. Should we get to what is happening now?
Let's do it.
All right, numbers 1 and 2 on the FedEx Cup standings are paired together in the final tee time that will go off at East Lake Golf Club at 2 p.m. Eastern Time today. Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas have combined for 8 wins this season, including 2 majors. Spieth's 3 wins include the Open Championship and that dramatic bunker hole out at the Travelers Championship. Thomas, meanwhile, has won 5 times, 5 to 59, and a record-setting 63 at the US Open. So if we take a look at how the two 24-year-olds have played when paired together in 20 stroke play rounds in 11 total events in their careers, Justin Thomas has produced 2 wins, both of which came this year, but Jordan Spieth just edges him in scoring average. While our reporter Todd Lewis is out at East Lake with more on the contenders this week.
Bakari, good morning to you from Atlanta. It is finally here, the final event of the season, and so much on the line. And of course, those top 5 players in the FedEx Cup standings, well, if they win the Tour Championship, any of those players, they win the FedEx Cup. And all of those players come here with momentum. Of course, Jordan Spieth, who lost in a playoff at the Northern Trust, though, solidified his #1 position at the BMW Championship over the weekend. That is something that he really wanted to do, and he accomplished that goal. Number 2 in the standings, that is Justin Thomas, who of course won at TPC Boston this year, and he would love to not only get a victory here and win the FedEx Cup, but also solidify Player of the Year honors. Number 3 in the standings, Dustin Johnson. He won the Northern Trust in a playoff over Jordan Spieth, so he obviously has recent memories of success. Number 4 in the standings is Mark Leishman, who not only won wire to wire over the weekend at the BMW Championship, he may have recaptured some lost confidence, because if you remember at the Dell Technologies Championship, he had the lead, a share of the lead heading into Sunday, and ultimately did not win. And at number 5 is John Rahm. Not many people are talking about him, but look what he has done in the playoffs. He has yet to finish outside the top 5. There are also 8 first-timers here in the Tour Championship, and if you think that a first-timer can't win here at East Lake, think again. This is the 11th edition of the Tour Championship in the FedEx Cup era. We are not going to count the very first one because everyone was a first-timer then, but 2 players have won the Tour Championship and the FedEx Cup in their very first appearance here at the Tour Championship. Those players, Henrik Stenson and Bill Haas. So experience isn't everything here at East Lake. Should be a fun day. Of course, we'll have live coverage on Golf Channel later. Cara?
All right, Todd, looking forward to it. Yeah, our coverage begins at 1 p.m. Eastern time today from East Lake, and we will have more on one of those first-timers in just a minute. But before that, let's focus in on numbers 1 and 2 again. Charlie, what are the key parts that we can look for in Spieth and Thomas's games today?
Well, statistically, Jordan Spieth this season has been phenomenal with his iron play. It's outstanding. But the thing I admire most about his game is his short game. And here's why. He is positive about his short game. He is decisive with his short game. And he is aggressive with his short game. If you're sitting at home watching this, I bet there's no way you have those same kind of feelings about your short game. Like a shot like that, he's mad that it didn't go in. He looks at it as an opportunity to go out and make something happen. And look how aggressive he is. This is not anything that he just sort of slides into the golf ball. He's committed to the shot and he goes out and he gets after it. I've mentioned his expectations. This is what he plays golf for right there. And if you do it all the time, it ain't luck. It's skill. It reminds me a lot of a World Golf Hall of Fame member by the name of Tom Watson, who had the very same approach and still does to his short game. 1982 at Pebble Beach. Watch how aggressive he is. Again, Tom Watson, he was positive that he was going to make that shot. He's decisive in what he does, and he goes after it. Look at short game to be an opportunity to go out and show people just how good you are. Practice it. Fall in love with it. Be aggressive. Works for Jordan Spieth. It's worked for Tom Watson for a long time. And if you change your attitude, it might work for you as well.
Yeah, and be confident around those greens.
Absolutely.
It certainly helps you too. So that's Jordan. What about Justin?
The thing that intrigues me about Justin Thomas is how aggressive he is with the driver. And you can look at these first 3 events here. He missed a cut in each one of these. Look at the driving accuracy percentage, under 50%. A couple of his 5 wins this season, 50% or higher. He doesn't have to be perfect with the driver because he is so aggressive, but he's got to be at 50% or better. Let's look at some of the drives that we've seen him hit over this last month or so. And he's not a big guy. He's very long, and he goes after it. It's a high-risk way of, go ahead and roll this, guys. It's a high-risk way of playing golf. And you know what? When you're on, it is wonderful. You're cutting the heart out of every fairway. Like Roy McIlroy plays. When he's on, he can go after it. By the way, that wasn't a big hook. He was aiming at other fairway. I pulled this shot to just show you how aggressive he is. He just missed the other side of the fairway. He thought he got a better angle from over there. If you're off a little bit, you're going to miss some cuts. You got to be all right with that. He's all right with that. But he knows that if he gets these weeks where he's on with this driver, that it sets everything up and he can go out and have a season like he's had this year where he's very likely going to be Player of the Year, breaking through winning his first major championship. So it's okay to be aggressive. But for Justin Thomas this week, if he doesn't hit 50% of the fairways, you got to understand East Lake, these greens are perfect. They're firm, they're fast. The rough is up a little bit. This time of year, it can be difficult to judge how the ball is going to come out of the rough. He can miss some fairways, but he's got to hit 50% or higher if he's going to win this week.
Tell me, if they're both on today with their strength, with driving accuracy for Justin and with aggression around the green for Jordan, who do you think shoots lower today?
Man, that's a great question. I think that I got to go with the putter, with the hot putter and Jordan Spieth,
Okay.
So, but it's going to be interesting to watch. It could go either way.
We'll reconvene here tomorrow morning and find out, huh?
Exactly.
How about that? Someone else will be here tomorrow, but is here today as well as Gary Williams. He's with Trevor Immelman. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Cara. With the 08 Masters champion, it's been great to watch the best players in the world for the last 3 weeks. Now we get it in the finale. Now, you're a thoughtful quote. You always have been. Pat Perez, you've known him since you were 15 years of age. He comes into this week 11th. It's not unreasonable that he can pull this off. We've seen longer odds. Bill Haas comes to mind. But when Pat Perez talks to the media, he's going to tell you what's on his mind. Take a listen.
I think that's the most thing I'm proud of, other than being here, is the fact that I never fell outside the top 15 against the best players in the world. And, if you look at some of the players I beat this year, I mean, I'll take that as a hell of a compliment to myself that I beat a lot of these guys, and I'm here, and it's my oldest, I'm the oldest guy in the field, and that kind of stuff. I take those things as, quite a compliment. When I get home next week and I kind of reflect on things I need to improve and this, this and that, I'll be very proud.
The biggest significance of being here this week, is it the fact you have a mathematical shot at 10 million, or the fact that you're not having to watch on TV?
Not watching on TV. For me to win the FedEx Cup, there's got to be a million things that have to go right. And the biggest one happens to be me winning. So that, along with the other stuff, I mean, it's like, for me, it's like winning the Powerball, because all the top guys would have to play bad, which they haven't done all year. So for them to all do it at once and me win, it's about the same odds as a Powerball. So, no chance. Bought a can of Chew instead. I got more enjoyment out of that.
All right, not quite a million things that have to go right, but a handful of things do. Obviously, Jordan Spieth tied for 6th award. Justin Thomas. You can go down the line looking at the top 5, as Todd Lewis has already discussed. So let's talk about Pat Perez. He's made $4.1 million this season. He's had a first, a second, a third, a fourth, a career year. You met him, as I mentioned, when you were 15. When I say Pat Perez, what comes to mind?
Exactly what you guys saw in that clip right there. He was so comfortable in his own skin in that interview right there, just being authentic, true to himself. And I think that's one of the reasons he's played so well this year. Had a first, a second, a third, 6 top 10s in total. By far his best season in his 16-year career on the PGA Tour. And in and amongst all that wit and humor that we got yesterday, which is really how he's been ever since I've known him, is he really did say some profound things yesterday when he spoke about going back to his roots from a standpoint of understanding his strengths and his weaknesses, not trying to be something he's not from a standpoint of technique and things he's working on in his golf swing. And I think there was like a little bit of a secret in there as to why he has played so well. He just looked so comfortable and at ease. And for me, it's great that he's playing so well. And I look forward to him having another good week here.
It's interesting. Honesty sometimes will blow fans' hair back. It's like, I don't know. He's an honest guy. He sat right here with Damon Hack and said, I've underachieved in this game. At 41 years of age, is his best golf ahead of him?
I think if he keeps this perspective, it will be interesting to see next year, now that he has really proved to himself that he does belong in the top echelon of these players. It's going to be interesting to see if he starts to put any more pressure on himself, or if he starts to try and work on some new things in his game. But from what I understand, listening to those quotes yesterday in that interview, he seems to have everything put together and in great perspective. And hopefully he can go from strength to strength. Yesterday, he's even talking about the Champions Tour in 9 years. Looking forward to getting out there and playing well over there. He's like, hey, this is right up my alley. I can be in a cart. I can sit down for more of the day. The guy is just absolutely a joy to be around.
Yeah, perspective, I think, is the apt word. We've got a lot coming up over the next 2 hours. Bailey Mosier, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Yes, indeed, we do have your T-sheet. We're with you until 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time on this Thursday morning. So coming up, we're going to take a closer look at the closing stretch at East Lake. That's number 16, 17, and 18. What players are going to have to face when the pressure is at its highest? You're going to learn that those 3 holes, they may lead to some drama and theatrics, which will make for the perfect conclusion to the FedEx Cup playoffs. And while all 30 players in the field this week at the Tour Championship, they don't swing alike at all, but they do share one swing characteristic. So what is that? Well, our Golf Channel Academy coach, he's going to tell you what that is and how you can sharpen it in your own game. That's less than 10 minutes from now. And in addition to today being the first day of the Tour Championship, it's also Miniature Golf Day. Less than an hour from now, we're going to have a Professional Putting Association Hall of Famer. Yes, that is a thing. He is going to be joining us live. We're going to get his tips on scoring the perfect 18 in miniature golf. We are with you until 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Miniature golf, guys, what's your best score? 18,
I get my game in order. I'm playing for the longest.
It's been so long.
You're going to be put to the test, right, today? Well, you got the green jacket, so I think you're good.
Yeah, I think he's good.